Not a bad setup here on the euro dollar. For you guys that aren't breakout traders, what's another approach that you can do to take advantage of this trade, right? There's always another approach if you're a trader and not just a blind system follower that has no skill. Speaking of which, do you guys remember that conversation I had? I told you about yesterday. I got an email from a guy saying that he took trading courses with this other place and he learned all the technicals, but he just can't seem to consistently find good trading opportunities in the market. And I asked him if he back tested and if his system has a positive expectancy. Yep. I got a response, and I don't say this to make fun, but I say this to make sure of the to show you guys the reality of trading. The response I got was, "What's a strategy and what's backtesting?" And that's, I mean, again, excuse me. I don't say that to make fun or poke fun at the trader, because I was the same way. I didn't know what a strategy or backtesting was when I first started trading. But it goes to show you that many people are out there learning this and learning that, but they're not actually developing a way that they can consistently trade the markets, and there's no consistency. And again, I get these every day. I got one on Twitter this morning or yesterday. Was a guy that was asking about 2618s, and I told him, hey, it wasn't one for me. And then the first thing he says, well, that's not one for me either anymore. And I'm like, well, what? Don't adjust what you're doing based off me. And you can tell there's no back testing. There's no, it's people are just, they're picking up and playing. They're picking up and playing. But he took a course. That's like a prerequisite. Yeah. Well, look, again, I'm not going to name the course he took, but some of these courses, and these are like $20,000 courses, man. They don't actually teach you how to trade. They teach you everything that's involved in trading, but they don't actually teach you how to apply it. So they can teach you flags and pennants and moving averages and indicators and this and that, but they don't actually teach you, okay, well, here's how you use it to make money. Here's how you develop a strategy based off of it. Here's how you actually apply it. Again, it's like, the toolkit reference is like giving me all these individual tools. Like, well, here's how you use a hammer. Here's how you use a screwdriver. But when it comes to like the project of like building a barn, right? I know how to use those things, but that doesn't necessarily mean I know how to build the barn. I don't know how to use them all together. So that's how it is. That's how it is. You sound like Jason. Did he have a similar conversation in the live room this morning? I know he put a video out yesterday. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but it was called "Training Courses Don't Work." So my guess is he was on the maybe he got the same email as me. But Kevin said they teach you how to drive, but don't really learn until you get on the road. Yeah, that's another good example, and that's always been my philosophy on trading. I know when I was taught how to drive, I started off in the parking lot. Right? Anybody do the same thing? Started off in an empty parking lot, 5 o'clock in the morning, right before the mall was open. Empty parking lot, 1985 Honda Civic, transmission on the fritz, can barely shift gears. Ooh, it was rough. Started on the parking lot. Once I mastered the parking lot and driving in between like the little parking deals, right? Then we started going to like the non-busy local roads. Started training on that. Then once we did the non-busy local roads, you started going on to some of the real roads, right? Still early in the morning. And then, you work up from there to regular day driving to eventually highway. But yeah, it's a completely different game, right? There's a massive difference between driving in an empty parking lot and driving on the real roads with the crazies out there, right? That was like me in London, right? Driving on the other side, the wrong side of the car, and driving on the wrong side of the road, right? I remember talking to Darren. Me and Darren were talking beforehand about renting cars, and I was like, probably not. I don't want them problems, Darren. He's like, I'm getting one. He's like, I got one. And Darren's really quick to adapt. He's like, yeah, I got this. How hard could it be, Akil? It's just like driving in the mirror. And then we get the car. Darren's like, oh, man, dude, that was an adjustment. And same thing with me when I got mine. I'm like, okay, you got this. Okay, winners win, right, Akil? Winners win. And then you get in there, and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening on the right side of my road. I'm all hitting things in the left. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's an adjustment. So it's a difference, right? The skill of driving is the same, right? Did anything change about the skill of driving? Right? You turn the wheel the same way, you push the pedals the same way, but you're applying it. You're applying it differently, and that takes time. And when you're brand new, it takes training. So, but it was interesting. It was interesting. I was shocked, but not shocked to get that response. I wasn't shocked because you guys can imagine how many times I get that response a day. And I've become, I hate to say it, I've become kind of numb to it. I think I do a good job of picking out who's serious and who's not. But I've become kind of numb to it. But what shocked me about this one was because, again, this guy had been through a training course. I know what training course he's been through because we used to do comparables to it. And if he did all of them, this is one that has like a training course, but before the training course, you have to pay for the prerequisite to take the actual training course. And then after you take the training course, if you really want to know how to apply it, then you have to take the next training course, and it ends up running you like $20,000, which is ridiculous. But I was shocked that this guy went through those courses, and maybe he didn't do the extra one that actually teaches you how to apply it. But I was shocked that he wasn't prepared after coming out of these courses, which are so kind of, I don't want to say highly sought after, but they're known. Let's put it that way. If I were to tell you the name, I guarantee 90% of you guys would know him. But it's interesting. But yeah. What's the strategy? What's backtesting? It's tough. That's tough. Pontiac Sunbird. Oh yeah. Jesse said, open field with an old pickup. You're what? You're Michigan, Jesse? Are you Michigan? Wisconsin. Okay. Close. All right, let's go up and get a. But why don't you research before purchasing a course? Well, maybe he did, Ale. Maybe he did. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, and I'm thinking about our courses and right now, and I think you would be under. I think you would be under the assumption that you're going to be taught how to trade, especially for that price point, right? So I think like if you just go through a course, right? If I took you to our do I have it in front of me? If I took you to our deal here, and it says stuff about tier 1 trading. I don't know. I don't think this is the page that has a list of everything you learn. Maybe there is. Nope, not on this. But if you have a list, right? Let's say this is your list. You're looking at this and you're like, ooh, technicals of trading, common mistakes, turning point, news, swing trading, money management, right? Advanced pattern recognition, 5 keys to success. I think you're under the assumption that you're going to learn that stuff. That you're going to learn it in a way that applies it. So I wouldn't fault him, especially, again, this is a highly known course. I wouldn't fault him. Now that I think about it, though, if I remember correctly, this is how this place organizes their courses, right? You have the course, right? And this course is probably about 5K, right? Let's say 4K. Let's 5K, right? You have the course, which is about 5K. But before you can take that course, you have to take the pre-course, which is another 2K. And then, again, this was a long time ago. I did my research on here. Then, if you really want to know how to apply it, right, you take the master course, which is like another 7K. And perhaps that's the business scheme where they say, okay, this is what you want to sell. They encourage you to add on that, so you're up to another 7K. But you don't actually know how to use it until you take this course. So once you learn this stuff and you realize that you know the information but you can't use it, that's what kind of suckers you into getting the big course. And this is their big sell, the 7K one. So my assumption, now that I think about it more, is that the trader probably took the first 2. and they did a good job of teaching you stuff and not knowing how to use it. Very similar to like for you guys are you guys have all gone. How many of you guys have gone through all the courses here? And we'll get back to trading in a little bit. This is a fun conversation. How many of you guys have taken all the courses here, right? Let me ask you this. When you made it through the cornerstone and the foundation, right? Did you know how to trade? No, not at all. It's not because we suck as teachers, but we were spending time teaching you the foundational elements, right? We were spending time teaching you the markets, not necessarily how to trade. You didn't actually know how to put it together and apply it until you got what? To the blueprint course? Is that it? Is that course number 4, the blueprint? The mastery? One of them. I forgot which is which. The mastery, maybe? That's when you learn how to apply it and actually start building strategies. And then, of course, there's other stuff after that, the trading psychology, the money management, right? So what we're doing is similar, right? We're doing something very similar where our pre-course is the basics, right? The cornerstone, the basics, right? Our regular courses, the foundation, and maybe the blueprint. I forgot what order they go off, and we have too many darn courses, right? But then when we get to the mastery, we're teaching you how to put all the stuff you learned previously together. The only difference is we're just giving it to you all at the same time instead of charging you and breaking it up separate. So I understand the concept. It's just it's the way they did it is a way to really extract as much money as possible out of you. And I don't want to say it's sleazy. It's not sleazy at all. It's it's business. I never hate on how anyone else does business as long as they're not scamming you. And they're not scamming you. It's one of those things you gotta read the fine print. So, so I guess you can say maybe he should have done more research, but I can see how you might be under the assumption that, hey, it says I'm going to learn this, I'm going to learn it. Baby pips is the same thing. If you look through baby pips, you could assume that you're going to learn everything. You do not learn how to trade by going through baby pips. You'll learn a lot of stuff, but you don't really learn how to trade. So. But let's not again overlook the fact that trading to a very large degree involves a great deal of effort you have to put in. Chances are high that the brother or sister is not putting in effort required. I wouldn't even say that. What you're saying is 100% true. And I always try to defend someone when I don't know the full story. What you're saying is 100% true. So many traders fail because they don't put enough effort in. Again, I was an example of that. I did not put enough effort in for my first few years of trading. I just wanted to kind of pick up and play and find a strategy that worked. And I failed for a very, very long time because I didn't put I put effort in. I didn't put it in the right way. However, we talk about the 4 stages of trading. Remember the first stage of trading? Unconscious incompetence, right? Unconscious incompetence is what? And I'm way behind here in the chat. But unconscious incompetence is like the baby mode, right? You don't know what you don't know. Right? So, if you were never told about backtesting, is there the expectation that you would put effort into backtesting? If you were never told that you had to create a strategy, would you ever put the effort into creating a strategy? Right? If you were never told, hey, don't touch the stove when it's hot, would you ever avoid doing so? So I give the trader a little benefit of the doubt. Again, I don't know the situation. I don't know this trader. But it's one of those things where, hey, if you're not taught that, you don't know. And that's why we put such a big emphasis on every piece of content that we put out on just the philosophy of what it takes to be a good trader, right? Do we ever talk about a magic system or strategy? I can care less how you trade. But the philosophy is the same. You got to do the same thing, right? You have to learn the foundational elements of the market, right? Learn how to read a price chart. No matter how you trade, reading a price chart is important. Whether you're going to be a mechanical trader, right, and build systems, guess what? If you're going to build a system, you got to be able to use a price chart. Whether you're going to be an indicator trader or a price action trader, doesn't matter. Learn price first and foremost. Learn how the market moves. After that, you want to develop a strategy, right? A rules-based strategy using the if-then syntax, right? Like a machine, like a programmer. If this, then that. If this, then that. If this, then that. A sequence, a consistent sequence that you can follow in the market. The sequence to success. That sounds like a webinar we'll do. The Stokes sequence to success. Right? Triple S. Stokes system to success. Stokes secret system to success. I'll show up covered in like snakes and stuff. Ooh. The Stokes super secret sexy system to success. But you want to develop that sequence, and then you want to make sure what you're doing is is testable, verifiable, and repeatable. And that means that is something that you can test. The data from your testing could be verified, and that you can actually replicate it in the live markets. And with that blueprint, doesn't matter how you trade, as long as it fits within that philosophy. But if you don't know that, and my assumption is many of you didn't know that till you came here. I didn't know it until I got educated. If you don't know it, we can't put them at fault. So it's tough. It's tough.